question is cheating a deal breaker?
No.
No.
Depends.
Absolutely.
Okay, who wants to go first? One of the no's?
Yeah, probably.
It wasn't for me.
Okay.
We remained together, it happened. But I think the depending parts, for sure, it depends on how, why, if you have that if you're interested in having that for me. I know other folks, it happens regardless of the scenario, that no discussion. But for me, yeah, it's like, why did that happen?
Yeah. You have to look at why.
Yeah, why did that happen? I'll try, and if the reason makes,
What
if
it's
it can be
as simple
excusable?
as, it was a mistake. I was drunk.
Yeah, well,
It's never just.
yeah, there has to be more. If
Did his drink would land on you?
Y'all told me
If
you
you,
guys were upset.
if you tell me you have now other issues and that it led to you making that mistake, that's different, and I'll listen. Okay, but if it's just it was a mistake, then that can happen any other time.
Yeah.
Just off being this human being who is attracted to other people. Yeah, always, like I expect the same from a woman.
Yeah.
And so if it ever, I guess, manifests into something more, and it's a mistake because maybe we had issues or something else was going on that led her into making that mistake,
Yeah.
we can sit down and talk about it. Like, but to me, it's not a deal breaker. I care more about, don't hide it from me, don't disrespect me. Like, don't make it a thing where a whole bunch of people know you did something, and I'm just here like parading you like, yo, that's my woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd rather you just come to me, we talk about it, and we can end it like right there. Or we can say, let's keep it going, and let's not tell anybody else, because that's our business.
So what if you found out she didn't come to you?
It's
Like someone told you,
it's a much
and
nicer
everyone
to come.
kind of knew.
Yeah, I would ask her, and I hope she would tell me the truth. Because look, I know what it feels like. I've been in a position where I've cheated on someone, and it was wrong, but it was very difficult to come out and say.
Yeah.
Like, it was something I just wished, like, okay, I wish it never happened with this person. And there's some people you cheat on them just because the relationship just isn't that strong, and there isn't a connection, and you're together for the wrong reasons. So I feel like there's a whole lot of like gray area.
Yeah.
That it's never I cheat on you because I hate you or I'm a bad person. Sometimes you cheat because there are deeper issues that if you don't address it, will just keep happening.
Yeah, and I also feel like just like on a generalized level, for both men and women, there's this expectation that if your partner cheats on you, that's like it's a deal breaker. But when as you're in relationships and you grow up and you kind of realize that relationships actually work, and it's a lifelong exercise to kind of live and like grow with this other person, that I mean, I totally agree with you. Cheating, it depends on context, it depends on how you find out, it depends on why it happened, and it just depends on, there's this like whole saying of like, it's not like you necessarily find the perfect person, but you find a person who you care about enough that their imperfections kind of are not as dominant as like the reasons you want to be with them. And it's the same thing with infidelity. If you're in a situation whereby you think that this is someone that's worth working through, it's worth working it out with, then it can make a relationship stronger, versus if it's kind of just like those Mr. for right now or Mrs. for right now, like it's not, you don't really see longevity, then it's not worth the emotional, mental effort to fix something that you don't see a future with, or that you don't think is like valuable to you, which can also be a reason for cheating in the first place, because it's just like, this is just a scenario that I'm in for the wrong reasons, and it's comfortable, but I'm not investing, I'm not doing the work to make this thing long term.
Yeah, but if you can think about it that way, that means we're giving, you're making infidelity sound like a backseat thing, that it's not a big factor, but I think infidelity is really big.
Yeah.
And the point in time you choose to be with someone else, why don't you let the other person go?
Yeah. I think
Wouldn't
that's
it be
the best
way
way.
easier?
Yeah, before we get into this other thing, because you're putting your life and their life and someone else's life in the same boat, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Sometimes it is probably our lack of empathy for the other person that puts us in that situation because you're not thinking about the other person you're in a relationship with.
Yeah.
And that also should really dwell to the fact that someone's decision, usually when you cheat on them, that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking, you went out
Yeah.
and had this thing with someone else, but you didn't think about the consequences that will happen when I found out.
At least in that moment you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you as a person, you need to be able to see that in the person you're with and see how will this hurt them to a certain level or degree. Why am I doing this at this specific point in time? Is it better off for me to leave them or address this issue with them before continuing on making this specific decision? Sometimes we say it's impulse, you met someone and it happened. But would you come back and say, this thing happened yesterday night, this is what happened, I'm really sorry for it, or I feel like we're at a space whereby I don't want to continue with this because I did this? Would you come out and be that honest with that person?
It depends because I actually, just to go back to what you said, I actually know for a fact that there are people out there who know that, who are thinking of their partner, and they know that if I do this thing, it's going to hurt this person that I care about, and they are totally invested in that relationship that they have at home, but they will still cheat.
Is that
Total
total investment
beings,
though?
I mean, but
Or is it just
human
like
beings are
acknowledgement?
complicated. I think there's like, how do I explain this? We tend to take relationships in like scenarios like this, like cheating or proposing or whatever, as like kind of black and white situations, but actually being in a relationship, and especially when you're with someone for a long time, it is work. And human beings, okay, and then just going back even from like an biological evolutionary perspective that I believe in, monogamy is not, we're not wired as human beings to be monogamous. We are not. We are animals. We're not wired to be monogamous, but we choose to be monogamous because we have decided as like a human race that this is what's best for ourselves, for our own self-preservation, for the self-preservation of our kids and our genial and whatever, and love is good, but it's work. It's not that you just meet someone and for the entirety of the time that you're with them, you're blind to everyone else. Or even when you can tell that someone else is attractive, it's still every day a choice to go back home to the person that you've chosen to be with. And and sometimes people slip. Maybe there could be actually something that's going on in your relationship in terms of maybe a lack of, if you've been with someone for a while, what tends to happen is you tend to take people for granted. The romance dies, you stop like doing the things that you used to do, and people grow distant. Or like if you have kids, marriage can become a routine of like, now the conversations between a couple are about, okay, do we pay school fees, how are the kids, rather than investing in your two's relationship. And then this random ass nigga comes, or this woman, and they're so interested in you. And it's not even someone, you don't really, like, it's not even about that external person. It's the fact that you're getting this attention, or there's this nuance that has died in your relationship at home. You are 110%, you want to be with that person that you've made that commitment to. But we're still human beings, and we still have desires, and we still want to be wanted. Especially, both men and women, that's how we see these babas with these young girls, impressionable girls, and it doesn't make sense to us. But it's really because this girl has like stars in her eyes, and she makes him feel young. Or even women who like will go for these like young boys that can't offer them anything, but because these guys have stars in their eyes, and they look at her and they appreciate that this older, awesome woman is interested in me, and they're like, oh my God. As human beings, we want to be wanted, and you can totally end up making a choice, which is a mistake, to step outside of your marriage or your situation because of all these small factors that add up, but you're totally invested in wanting to be at home. It's kind of, what really happens is how you deal with that after you've made that decision. But I don't think it's like a test. I don't think cheating is like, me cheating on you means that I don't give a fuck about your feelings.
But what if they're a serial cheater?
See that there.
Because when you forgive them, I feel like you take the gamble of knowing it's either this was a one-time thing, or you're telling them, just don't let me catch you again.
So it just depends on how you deal with it and your...
Well, the dynamic changes because the moment you cheat on someone, you lose their trust.
It changes everybody in the relationship.
that means your relationship from that point on is very different from how it used to be.
Yeah.
You see, and to a certain degree whereby, we are human beings, and yes, we're more like animals, and our general instinct is maybe monogamy is not it. There's a certain thing, I feel like we all have to have respect for people who are married.
Yeah.
And in that sense of relationship, there's a certain way you treat your married friends that you don't treat your single friends. So the stories you tell with your single friends and the certain stories with your married friends, well, it's not for you. But the reason being, if you don't have that level of respect for married people, I feel like it opens up a lot of things. And it opens up a lot of translation whereby, yes, this person makes you feel different. But what are you going back home to? Is because generally I feel like you don't have respect for the person you have at home. This guy, yes, make you feel like you can either choose to make him stop and say, hey, thank you, I'm married. Or indulge him a little bit more, which is what, Alan, we'll try to tell Alan before, whereby, you're trying to take this girl on a movie and you're indulging her instinct that, I actually like you. It's the same thing with infidelity. You're indulging this person that this can happen. This is possible. Because that's the decision you're trying to push up. And every space where you're trying to generalize it in terms of, okay.
So when you say you, are you talking about the married person, or are you talking about the person they're cheating with? I'm confused.
Who's indulging?
Who is indulging?
The married person especially. And the person who's actually trying to get it with the married person. Because the first point is, I have to respect you that you're married. Point important. That is me outside of your marriage.
That's not my marriage.
But yeah, I think the onus is with the person in the relationship. I totally agree that as I feel accountable, like I can't even, that thing is weird for me, because I do feel, even though I'm not the person in the relationship, I have to respect.
Yeah, respect.
Because I would hope that other people would do the same for my situation.
They won't, but you can hope.
Let's not shift blame to outside parties. Yeah. Because you're the person who made the commitment.
And I agree with that 100%.
And that's the point, that you have to have that level of respect, whereby someone approaches you and
you don't intervene.
Yeah.
It's like don't like you also have like the corruption end which they keep
I don't think it's even necessary for us to bring.
If you give and take
receive or if you give out your whole headline and you're accountable, right?
I don't
it's more or less the same, but sorry, you can finish.
No, so I just don't think we need even to bring the external people into this conversation, because you can go to a prostitute and cheat. You can take off your ring and someone doesn't know and cheat.
If it's not me, somebody else.
External factors are not.
Accountability always has to be to the person who's committed.
I would never blame that other person like at all. Like that he doesn't know. I would never blame that person.
If sounds like rocked up to my wife, I could be like, I understand.
It would be the ugliest motherfucker ever. I'll not blame, because he has nothing to do with our marriage. Like even our marriage or like our relationship, he has nothing to do with it.
What if the other person is someone you know?
If that night means you broke my trust. I know you're my nigga, and you smashed my wife. This is between you and me now. It's not because I know you know me. But this other guy, I do not know this guy. He has no reason to respect my marriage. As a human being, I guess you should. But I won't hold him accountable, for him, because he can do some other. I would judge him for him being a drug addict or whatever it is. Why would I judge him for him going into it's now, if my friend was a drug addict, I was like, you're in the wrong way. As much as if they smash my wife or girlfriend, we have a problem, like guy, because I trust, leave her. I'll deal with her at other time. I'm talking to you now as my friend. You fucked it up, and the issue for me is a deal breaker. It's not really, and we won't end it like okay, we're done. But I won't see you the same way. There's no point of me being like a once thing. And for me, cheating, it might be wrong. It's probably wrong. For me, cheating is sex. If you make out, we can talk about it. Like we can talk about it. Legit. I legit. It's just definition. Some people
so if you do everything just before sex, it doesn't.
Flirting, some people is cheating, right?
Some people. Some people talk.
Me, just the thing that you mentioned, that we are a species, like human species, animals. That's also true. So you kind of have to understand. Maybe at some point they might want to feel something from the outside world. It shouldn't be that physical feeling of smashing for me, but
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, that's it. But if you're trying to, if you're trying to do that, you better make sure you don't fall into the trap of money. So it means if you think that you'll do that, then don't do it. Like if you feel like this will go to that direction, just don't. My issue is first, which you mentioned, the fact that, let's say, if I found out from people. That might be like that day, actually. If I found that might be like same day. But if you come to me like this happened, I believe there's no such thing as it was an accident. There is no such.
I agree.
Making
I
out
agree.
maybe
Unless
an accident.
That is
you might be drunk. Because it's like a two. It's like
it can be an accident.
It could be like an accident,
but it can be a mistake.
It could be a mistake, but to sleep with somebody, to sleep,
it was a choice.
You're going to whatever car or room, whatever it is, like you're going somewhere. Choice. You're unzipping down, and for me, I do believe, it might be wrong. I do believe for a woman to give out their,
don't say that.
For it's a bit harder than men. They kind of I do believe that's what I do.
My
believe.
skirt fell. Okay.
Fine. But my point is, I feel like women don't.
So why is it a deal breaker for you?
Because it's something that you could have. It's not an accident. It's not something that this thing.
Yes, absolutely.
is bad, especially for like me. Like I would have addressed it even before. Actually, I would have told you that this is not like a thing that I mess around with. So I won't see you the same way. It's not about just the cheating part. It's like what does come after that. Because I will not. It won't be the same. Every time you're out, I'll just be thinking where to like where.
Well,
I won't have the same.
Fair.
Yeah, so I might as well just end it there, or you can take whatever few months it is. But I know, like, I won't feel the same way.
Like, have you guys heard of if you're not planning to leave your partner, don't ask?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's not the
same. I've heard that before.
The same. So
or don't tell.
Yeah. Just.
I also don't think we need to tell.
You just go.
If you're not planning to leave,
if you're not going to do something about it,
don't tell.
Yeah.
I just feel like
I don't understand that.
Realistically, these things do go down.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm saying realistically, these things do go down.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of accountability and saying, where did we go wrong? Because I could be, as the man, doing something very wrong that is pushing that woman away. And then it's like going underwater and saying, I'm just going to hold my breath and hope I don't pass out. Like, at some point, you keep pushing her away, she will reach a point where she takes interest in someone else. Now, I cannot say, it's a deal breaker. Why did you do that?
No, okay.
So maybe if I change my ways, you could.
I feel like if I do believe on a personal level that I'm a good guy, but not a perfect guy, right? And I will make mistakes. And there's some occasions where I don't know that I'm making like a mistake. I have a perceptions of life where people don't see it. Like a good example, the whole hour we've been talking about that. I have that perception until you guys told me.
You're a special kind of guy.
So a point being, if in somewhere I'm doing something wrong, because I know I'll never do something wrong just to make you feel bad or hurt you. I'll never do that, and there are people also who do not do that as well. So if you don't address it to me, and all you do is go out and cheat, and then now it's okay, let's talk about it. Oh, you hurt me and stuff because of this. After the fact, and like, okay, I'm sorry I did that, but did you you knew what you were doing? I did not know.
I don't think it's ever that simple.
It's not.
It's not that simple.
Like,
because
you're saying that perfection.
Perfect, and then she just cheats later.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying you don't understand. I'm saying that there's some stuff that I might do that I don't think is a problem. But she's, and after that,
What about
I think,
being boring? What about
you was boring when you're dating?
yeah,
but
it's fair,
that
it's
can
fair. I
happen
understand,
later on in life, whereby you
And
just
then-
get
I
focused
dated a
on
boring
work.
person and I
Yeah.
ended up
Yeah,
I
you
just broke up with him
Oh,
instead
you
of
focused on you
doing that.
focus on work too much. Maybe you're like overwhelmed and you're just thinking about school fees and whatever, and you forget. And it's not like you're doing it intentionally.
That's
Yeah.
my point.
You take
That's my
someone
point.
for granted, and then so she's like,
I'm
this
saying if there's a problem, I
Shamba
just
boy
say
over
a
here.
whatever it's a relationship is
To
work,
be Shamba
a
boy.
Why you gotta be a
marriage
Shamba
is
boy?
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of have to address this stuff. You can't just take
But what
it upon
if you
yourself.
address
The
it?
mature response is to address it. The
Yeah.
immature
What
response
if
is
you
to go
address it
find
and you don't
somewhere else.
change? Because
Sorry,
that can happen too.
sorry.
Well,
What?
then you tried.
Then you leave.
What
No,
if-
then that is on me
At
now
least you
because
tried,
I've been
though.
told that this is a problem. But at least even there, I can even foresee it. Like, okay, this might happen. But I've done, as far as I know, I've done nothing wrong. I might be doing something, but this is the issue which I don't get. That this person is doing something that you don't like it's bad, and you are making your own decisions now to, I don't know if you're doing it to get back at them or it's just for you, but you're doing something that this will affect your entire thing. Now, I don't think that I'll get a divorce after they like cheat. But the deal breaker for me is like it won't be the same. We'll be married on paper and that's it. But it won't be like I don't. But if I know that I did something wrong, I'll blame myself more. Like, how
But
did I let
I
this
also
happen?
think that's incredibly like selfish
Of
Which
who?
part?
of the person who was cheated on. It can be that okay, so like yes, your partner did something as heinous as yes, it's awful, cheating, and if they're actually genuinely remorseful and they want to make it better, and you don't give them the opportunity to do that because they were flawed and they made a mistake.
No, I'm telling you, to cheat, it
But
has
I
always
think
definitions,
cheating in
right?
itself
But
is
for
selfish,
me, on a
It is, but you
But
can't
two
let your
wrongs
partner
don't
be selfish. Guys, we're humans. You're with another human being. Like human beings are not. We are selfish. We are flawed, and like relationships are like about like finding a way to coexist and like build something with someone who is naturally broken, possibly
Yeah, but you have to agree.
as persons.
You have to agree if you want to be forgiven and you're willing to work on it. You also have to agree that the circumstances have changed and that
Exactly.
you might
Yeah,
not be the same person.
that's
It's not
the
the
deal
same.
breaker part
Yeah.
for like me.
But
It's
we're
not.
married.
Even
Like his
I
dish
don't say
is
that
broken, we're
it's-
putting it back together, but it's still a broken dish.
Yeah.
And
That's what we're eating off of.
You're
And the
saying
meals
that it's
might
a
be more
mistake.
tasty.
I hope so, because I'll throw it at your head.
But the fact that you think that it's a mistake, that I don't understand. If I make a mistake, I would hope my wife would forgive me and try it and fix it. If she makes it, same thing. But I started off to say, but on a personal level, I don't think sleeping with somebody who is not your husband is just a mistake. You can make out with him or make out with a guy or flirt. For
Even
me,
making out.
for
This
me,
one-
wait, for me that's it happens as a
It's
mistake.
kind of right there.
This happens for him.
Right
I'm
there.
saying you can
Yeah.
make up with them, but for me, I can understand how that could be a mistake. I can somehow understand. But to go to a level of both of you being naked
Getting undressed.
to sleep,
What if-
that's a choice you're making. Like it's a choice.
What
after,
if it's
not one
emotional
choice.
cheating?
Sorry.
Emotional cheating.
What does
I
that
mean, that's
mean?
different for him. I think cheating is different
That
for
is-
Confiding in
people.
someone else.
That
That's even worse. in my opinion.
Because you said
Yeah, I think people,
you
it's for
insisted on
different.
sex.
He's for him, it's
So
sex.
emotional.
Yeah, for
Emotional
that,
is fine.
I would feel hurt, but it's not a deal breaker. I would feel hurt like
You
why
It's
are
just
you?
not an ego thing.
It's his ego.
Yeah.
It's the fact
emotional.
that someone else had your woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than
The physicality.
Because
right?
the thing is, you
Me, it's
didn't
both, man.
It's
have
his
to.
ego.
You didn't
Yeah.
have to, or be ego, be whatever. Because, and I'll understand if I cheated and she just like everything changed. I'm not saying we'll
I mean, I agree.
we'll
but
leave
it's
each other,
still-
but it won't be the same. If you talk to some other guy about some stuff, be like, "What? I'm here. If there's anything, talk to me," because that stuff I
Why?
do believe for me you can change that easily, but you can't
Easily.
undo the fact that you
But
made you
that's-
I always
went.
can change it easily, man.
Sorry?
'Cause I don't know if you can change that easily.
I mean,
emotional cheating can get really...
You're emotionally attached. Right?
Yeah, emotional is a worse.
Yeah.
Like if I found out, for instance, if I was with someone and they cheated on me physically, okay. That's something like, depending on how long we've been together, how much I care about this person, how I found out, we can work through. But if I found out that maybe you've never touched this girl, but you care so much about her that you're paying for a house for her to live somewhere and her kids' tuition fees, and you're talking to her, I will bury you.
Things that
You are dying. I'm gonna catch a case, and you're going to die.
If you
there's a difference. Even if you've never met her,
you're dying.
No, I want to ask Alan something. So if you found out that your wife has never actually physically been with anyone, but she wakes up and the first person she just wants to text
is that nigga.
It's Jonathan.
And
you don't know Jonathan.
I must be doing something wrong.
So you're saying that you're
I can handle that easily.
That's like a deal breaker or whatever.
I could understand.
She's upset. She doesn't.
She goes to him first.
No, I'm saying now that point I don't know, right? And then she tells me like, how do I
find out?
No, at some point
you find out. You see her text messages and calls.
So that's not a deal breaker.
She gets into an accident and he's the first person she calls.
Oh, he's emergency contact.
Oh, in that case, for me, which I'm saying, for me, I don't think it's an issue because at that point, as I've done, I know I've done something wrong, and I'll be upset at her for like not confiding in me. But it won't be like I do because I personally believe I could change that. I personally believe that I could.
It's been going on for like 6 months.
It doesn't matter.
See, a parameter, you're adding a parameter.
No, just saying.
I mean, I think it's just different for different people. We are wired differently. We have our own personal issues that inform how we exist in relationships. And for him, for whatever reasons, physical shit is what matters to him. More, and for some people, more, and like emotional things, like for me, hey.
If I find out you get up and get dressed so someone to impress someone else, like that's too deep.
Yeah.
And I know people who do that.
That's another underlying
like you might as well just do it and then go apologize rather than to like do all this.
And that's like an affair now. That's like that's the whole that's an affair. Which in that period of time now, if you don't see it like there is a problem. Like there is a problem that's your fault. I'm saying like that's a problem that's more on you now. Like that, I wouldn't really blame her for that. But
no, but she can hide it well. It could be still her fault. You can.
Well, he doesn't notice it because he's so in his own.
No, I'm saying now that is on me now. That is all on me because if I'm not there for you, somebody else will be, right? Like whether it's emotionally or whatever it is. But if my point was, which I repeat the 5th time, I know that I'm a good guy,
what you need to do.
but I'm not perfect, right? And I'll make this small mistake, but I won't make the mistake of not being there for my wife or girl. I'll not make that mistake. And if I'm trying to be that person and I feel like she's not into it, I can tell now there's something wrong here.
A friend of mine sent this to me. I'll read just a part of it. We're talking about infidelity. And she's an older friend.
What friends do you have?
I have some dope friends. And she sent me this Reddit thread that she was reading whereby someone asked about what would you do if you found out that your wife cheated on you a couple of years later. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's this part where this guy who responded to the Reddit thread, he says that marriage and long-term relationships are not for cowards or the weak of will. You don't stay together because of love. Romance fades into family, familiarity, and competition for control over your children's future. Or trust. You cannot trust humans. They are unpredictable even to themselves. You stay together only out of sheer willpower, and because you have a sense of humor about what the person might be up to next, and you want to see it and help them through it.
Sense of humor.
No, that.
Remember that time you felt.
Does it carry on?
I mean, it's very long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing.
That is so smart. That person is saying just remove all the stuff that you guys think is an issue and just leave.
Go for it.
If we're doing that, I don't think I personally can just move on from that mindset. But if I was, let's say, raised that way, that cheating or whatever it is, it's not like an issue, obviously.
It's not even about being raised, though. I think it's like about something you realize.
No, as in when I say raised, I say like I grew up knowing cheating is bad. I didn't just make up kwamba, you know, this year. I grew up, but so if we grew up to that, if that guy was there 200 years ago and started that thing.
Is that when you were born?
Like, because it doesn't start just by for your parents. I'm talking about a generation ago, and this is a new generation. Like, if that was a thing, that would be awesome. But as you, all of us mentioned, we were talking about the reality. What he's saying, it's a poem, really. It's not really like, it's not something really. He's saying what it should be. He's
saying what he has learned
that's
from
his
being
reality.
married.
I thought you were saying like,
that's his reality.
That's his marriage.
That's not only
that's
him.
impressive.
That's
something
that this shit is work.
His wife definitely has 3 boyfriends, so he can do that.
And he's like, you know what? So what is this nigga gotta do next week? That's what I need to worry about. I can't be worried about this shit.
He's been cheated on. Like the fact that now you're like laughing at it, like that was like the 10th guy. Like now this is funny now. No,
this guy has nowhere to go.
This is funny now.
That's interesting. It does, but you know, not my house.
We're not supposed to let it happen.
I didn't say that. So shit can happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So where to conclude this, Angie?
Conclusion is different strokes for different folks. Thank you all for participating once again, and we'll see you next week.
No, subscribe. Where is it?